say if I want to find a shot, on the left-hand side I can just mark in and mark out. One cool thing about the source tape is if I mark in and mark out on a portion of it like that, if I push source tape again, it now restricts the source tape to the area that I just had. So I can zoom in some ways on the source tape. So I don't have to have the source tape having the entire thing, I can actually narrow it down just by marking in and out on the source tape. I can do that in the UI, but I can do it here as well. If I push escape, it goes back to the full source tape. So let's actually do something. So I've got, we'll just, I'll get to my source tape. Let's find a shot that I want. So I can mark in there, mark out, end to end. Let's find something else, mark in, mark out, end to end. Mark in, mark out, end to end. So let's just find shots. And as I'm just building stuff up, you know, like that, end to end. So you can see I can just run through and find shots. And really see how fast it is because both hands are operating at the same time. So this is even faster again. So it's pretty exciting. If I push back to timeline, now I've got my timeline, I can just play whenever I want. Now if I wanted to do a trim of an edit, that's another issue that I want to go. I want to do the trim with the knob. So I've got a bunch of buttons on the bottom left-hand side that will roll, and we'll have a keyboard out here after the show, you can check it out. But if I push roll in, so here's an edit point here, I'll get the job actually because it's getting a bit crazy with the way it's fine. There it is. So I don't have to be exactly on it. If I push roll in, there's the end point of the destination clip. So I can do trimming right from there. If I push roll out, it's rolling the out point. If I now roll the transition point itself, and this is all modifying the behavior of the search dial. So now I've got this nice big dial just to dial these things in. And I can now also slip by pushing roll source and roll destination. I can slip the clips. And if I add a cut down the bottom of the transition switching, which you saw in the UI, if I turn that on, I get a dissolve. And now I can change the length of that just by dialing it in. And then I can still move things around and do all that sort of stuff. Now what's really interesting about that, so if I go back to scrolling, if you had, say, a 30-second commercial that you did and you found it was 35 seconds and I'm going to get a little bit off it, what am I going to do? Well, what you might do is just do a whole lot of rapid trimming. So if you push the trim editor, which is on the keypad, what it does now is it switches into trim mode in an almost forceful way. And now you're scrolling up and down the edit points. So at any point you can then go, okay, I want to trim a little bit off that. Let's go to the next edit point, trim a bit off that. Yeah, that's pretty good. Trim off a bit off here. And I can just get that duration down. There I am, and now I'm looking better, and then I can just come back out of that. You can also do things like go to full screen and do editing. Yeah. So you've got that. So you can see there's quite a lot of power in the keyboard. The big thing is you can do both hands at the same time. So I'm going to stop talking for a moment because Mary's going to pop over. There's a lot more stuff in DaVinci, so she's going to do a really quick update, and I'm going to have a little bit of camera news to show you. So I'll unplug my keyboard here and then I'll pass over to Mary. Sorry for talking too much. Alright, I'll just get this down here.
Alright, we have a lot of exciting updates that we've added to DaVinci Resolve 16. In fact, it's such a massive update, I've got like 150 things to show in 5 minutes. So I had to kind of narrow it down a little bit, just in some of the highlights for the different pages. Let me switch pages for just a moment. To leave the cut page for now. And I didn't realize how inefficient all of my editing and clicking was until I started working with the cut page, and then I realized just how much clicking I'm actually doing all the time. So this is our edit page that you're very familiar with. And what I'm going to show you is just a couple of big features that, and some things may seem really small, but if you're an editor, they can be a really big deal. For example, one of the first things is you can now create new timelines that can have custom settings within the same project. So you can change the format, you can have different frame rates and size within the same project. So that's huge. You can even change the frame rate and size within timelines that have already been made in your project, which is kind of big. So if you know what I'm talking about, it's kind of a good thing. I'm going to get out of that. Let me show you something else that's really cool. This is just, like I said, a standard timeline. I'm going to bring over an adjustment clip. This is something new. It's sort of like an adjustment layer, but it happens right here in the timeline on my edit page. And what I can do with this is I can place it over any clips. And once I do that, I can add effects to my adjustment clip and anything below that, and it will apply to whatever clips are below it. So for example, let's go down here through this awesome list of our effects. Let's go in here to our effects. And you might notice this nice list of Resolve effects that now work in the edit page as well, not just the color page. And I'm going to come down here and throw on one of our new ones, the vignette, which a few people might have asked for. So there's our vignette effect, and I'm going to go here to the inspector, and you can see the vignette's now been applied to all of the clips below my adjustment clip, and I can come over here to my open effects and just make any changes I want to. Also, any of these parameters I can now automate or add keyframes not only here in the inspector, but I can also do those in the keyframe editor. So that's pretty awesome. So working with the open effects or the effects right here in the edit page is pretty big, and being able to keyframe them. So that's one thing. We've also got some really deep learning. We have our new DaVinci neural engine, which is going to be used some AI and some deep neural network. So it's like smart. It's AI, right? Everyone wants AI, and we've got that too. So, and ours is pretty smart. It's going to do all kinds of things to really make your job easier. Let me come over to some clips. One of the things we can do is we can grab a group of clips, and I can analyze those. And while I'm analyzing those, notice it'll go through and it will find the faces. So we have facial recognition. And so what that will do is it will go through. You can label your different characters, and it can actually make smart bins, which will automatically populate with those characters. So as you make more scenes, as you bring in more footage, you can just analyze them and it will automatically do that for you. So
Attention exhibitors, the show floor will officially open in 15 minutes.
Awesome.
Once again, the show floor will officially open in 15 minutes. Thank you.
So it'll recognize your characters, you can just give them a name, and once you do that, it'll have a smart bin that will go with those characters. You'll see those. I'll open up my sidebar, and you'll see, next for a second, you'll see here's my smart bins. Notice I can just move those around. Here's my different people, there's my characters, and it will show you anyone that's already been analyzed. So that's just little things like that. You can also have smart bins for all types of metadata, your scenes, any of those types of things can be created into smart bins. We even have folders for smart bins now, so you can have smart bins maybe, or at least organized, so that's kind of cool. Let's step out of here. I want to show you actually one thing in my effects library is we also have put a lot of effort into improving the performance for Fusion. It's now working much faster in real time, and in fact we can add some of our Fusion titles right here. Let me grab one and I'll just throw it at the end just to give you a touch. Let me just pick one from the list and add it to the timeline, and here is a Fusion title that I can add. I can make an adjustment to it right here really quickly. See if I can just spell. There you go, and there is my title. And so that's just one more thing that we can do right here, and this is just on the edit page, but there's more. Let's go over to the color page for a minute, because a lot of that AI and our deep learning is going to be really put to work right here on the color page. I know a lot of you are already familiar with what we had. Well, we've taken it up quite a bit. So let me just show you a few things that we have. For example, I'm going to switch timelines to my color timeline. As you can see, I have a bit of a grade that's already been applied to this. I'm going to go to a clip, and I'm going to show you one of our new effects. Now, this particular effect is, here's my scenario. I've got this baseball scene. Let me make it a little bit bigger for you. There it is. And as you can see, we've got this character in the background. It turns out they had a script change. It happens. And it turns out they don't want to have that character in the background anymore. We need to get rid of them. So we now have object removal. And so what we can do with that is, I will just show you. Showing is better, right? So we'll come over here, and all you have to do is come over here, set a mask. I'm going to bring this up. And as you can see, I created a mask. I did a little bit of that ahead of time, and a little tracking, nothing complicated. And so my character has now been outlined. So anytime you add a window, you can automatically separate your object that you have to draw the window over. So I've got that. And I'm going to come over here to my, let's go over here. I'm going to show you now some of that brain power that's going on under the hood. You see this little red mark there? That's the neural engine at work. And what's happening here is it's actually looking at the pixels, it's analyzing that, it's checking out the background of the moving shot, and it's deciding which things to create a background once the characters move. So it's analyzing all of that for us, so that when I turn this off, he's gone. Okay, let's do that a little bigger, shall we? Okay, so now you see him, now you don't. Notice they're looking for him too. He disappeared, right? They're like, what? Where'd he go? So script changes, but there you go. So that is one of our really awesome effects. Again, that's our object removal. We have, some of them are a little less showy, but we still have some really cool things going on. For example, same scene. Here we have a new shot. It happens where you have a pickup shot that just came in however we got it, and they dropped it in, and of course it doesn't match anything else in my timeline. I need to fix it real quick. The colorist isn't here, and someone's coming to look at the timeline in about 5 minutes. So, what do I do? Well, one of the nice things we can do is we can just select this clip, and I can come down here and take advantage of a cheat, yes, but it's a really awesome one, and that is our auto balance. We have now upgraded that as well, so it's using a lot of our AI to really think that through. So if I click the auto balance, you notice that it did a fairly nice grade, for me anyway. It did a nice grade, which looks great, except it has nothing to do with the coloring that I have on the rest of my shots. So if I wanted to, ideally what I'd like to do is find another shot that I can match this to. And so let me go over here, and I'm going to make a new serial node, and I'm going to find another shot that's in the same outdoors, in the same scene, and I'm just going to select that, right click, and I will just say shot match. And look at that, just like that. I'm close enough, right? I'm not a colorist, I'm just playing one on TV today. But as you can see, I was able to fake it well enough to get by with this particular thing. And obviously when the colorist comes, they will redo all of that. But again, a lot of that work, you saw I just did that, it took me 2 seconds, and it worked out pretty well for me. So let's open this up, and I'm going to show you something you may not have noticed. Check out our scopes. And I know everyone's got their own favorites. Here's our parade, but you notice we now have our GPU accelerated scopes. So we have, right here you can see them in real time playback for our scopes, and we also have, here's our waveform. We also have the ability to go in and change all kinds of settings too. So you can go in here and you can also look at different ways that you want to analyze it. And we even have a new scope built in right here. Here's our CIE 1931XY. So if you're getting into your color depth and you need to be able to look at it at this granular level, we have that as well. So you have your standard scopes, but we also have some other stuff accelerated, built right in. So all of this is pretty exciting, right? And then there's audio. I know everyone saves audio for last, but isn't me. All right, so let's go over here, and I'm just going to show you a couple things that we have on our Fairlight page. I'll go to the edit page for just a moment. You'll see that this is just a typical shot that we might have on the edit page where we had to do some ADR. The shot wasn't good, we needed to replace the audio. And the ADR, it sounded good enough in the studio, but now that we're trying to match it up, you ever watch bad ADR? Or it's good, but it always looks off just a little bit. You can see it. Well, I can tell right here, obviously, the waveform's not quite right. So one of the things we can do now is, let me pop over to the Fairlight page, is we now have something new. And in fact, let me just take this out. Changing things up a bit. There we go. So you can see this really well. There's his mouth, so I can really watch his mouth movements. And as you can see, these are pretty close just by looking at them, but that first waveform's not. So we're going to use our new elastic wave right here. If I turn that on, and now I have the ability to actually stretch, change, and move around this waveform to get it to match better to the lip movement. All you need to do is command click. You add your markers that you can then move around, and then I'm going to add a couple more here. This is the waveform I'm most interested in, so I'm going to stretch this out. Notice I can just stretch that out. Now, it doesn't change pitch. Obviously, if you stretch it too much, you'll hear that, but you should be able to just grab that and make a few adjustments. I'm going to try to line up those peaks. The consonant sounds there. Looks pretty good. It'll sound...
He didn't call for it.
Okay, which they didn't like. They wanted to replace it, and as you can see, we did a pretty good job
He didn't
matching
call
lips
for it.
and fixing that up. So again, that's our elastic wave. You just right-click to turn it on, command-click to set your markers. So that's one thing. And we also have some huge power hit as far as elevation to our Fairlight page. And that is, we've got a lot of professional features that are now built in here that a lot of people have been asking for. It's just a matter of time. Here they are. We bring these up. I just could glance at them because I know I'm going long here. So one of the things, I know some people, anyone here working audio, then you know that automation is kind of a big deal. So as you can see, I have some automation applied to my timeline here. And we don't actually need to hear the sound, so I'll read that. So we have some automation applied. We can even, of course, see this. So it's just standard, automation. There's my nice automation curve. But what we can do now is we also have, in addition to automation, is we have the ability to preview, which if I turn on preview, notice it turns blue. That gives us the opportunity to then audition different changes that we might need to make to our faders during playback so that you don't lose control of everything because you have automation engaged. So if I turn that on, as long as I have something enabled, whatever's enabled, I can then turn this on and notice it turned blue so that I can make different adjustments to it even though it has automation. See how it throws it up. So I have manual adjustments. I can test drive it as much as I need to against playback, and then I can always drop in the new settings. So that's really great if you do a lot of automation. That's huge. We got a couple other things really quickly. Notice I have automation applied to a lot of my buses and mains, but I can't see those, so I can't do any kind of adjustments to them other than, I can listen and I can run the faders. But now we actually have bus tracks. If you go into your index, any of your buses, submixes, auxiliaries, mains, you can come over here and I can just turn those on. So here's a VCA group. I turn on my effects and I'll turn on my main. And you notice that I can actually see, let's put up one more, I can see the automation curve now for those right there in the timeline. As you can see, there they are, so I can compare them. You can also cut, copy, and paste your automation from track to track. I can even go in here with my edit tool and I can go in and I can actually redraw the wave, even though this is one of my buses. So I have total control of my automation, even at this level, which is pretty awesome. And that is right here on the Fairlight page. Another big one, and I'll show you this in a second, I'm going to just unveil this and bring up my meters, is we also have all new loudness meters. So anyone does anyone here do video? Anyone who does professional video, loudness is pretty much it, right? We have to be compliant with our loudness. So we have entirely rebuilt professional loudness meters now. So these are going to follow along with all of the loudness standards now. We have the most current loudness standards. And if you notice right here, you can choose the standard for your region. They're going to include your true peak now, as well as you're going to have 3 different colors that are going to show if you do playback. You see 3 different colors. Blue means you are within range, right? If you're yellow, that's just going to show your tolerance. And red means you're too hot, you got to deal with it, right? So it's great that you can see those levels, but we actually took it a little bit further, and now if you look down at your main, while you have automation up, if you look at your main, you can actually turn on your loudness history, and this will actually show you your integrated loudness history right here in the timeline. So not only can you find out, by the way, so just so you don't have, one second. Last thing is I'm just going to show you, we also have now our 3D capabilities. We now can do our full 3D mixing and mastering, including our Atmos, and then we can bring up our panners. As you know, we have our 3D panners, which have been improved, and we even have our scopes so that we can work in a full 3D environment. So you can check out all that when you get out to the main floor. Thank you guys for your patience. I know it's long, so back to Grant.
So we'll switch back to the slide. So the keyboard will be available in August for 905. A little bit early to show, but we think we have to show it because it's really part of the edit page. We had to really show them together. They're probably a little earlier than we would like to announce them. So the last thing I wanted to show quickly is the pocket camera's been doing very well for us. And one of the popular features is plugging in a flash drive externally. So people are plugging in fan-powered mics, they're plugging in flash drives, and that's really hitting the battery pretty hard. Some of those flash drives consume a lot of power, and we have to provide a lot of power because we've got USB-C on the side. So we've come up with a battery adapter that lets us extend the battery. So all you need to do is, the pocket camera was originally designed for this. There's a little switch there. You can take the door off, and in fact you can put the door in the tray under here. The battery adapter has a tray that slides out, and underneath you can store it's got 2 of the Sony batteries. And it's also on the sides, you can slide the batteries out when it's on a tripod. So all you need to do is bolt that into the bottom, it slides in, and it screws on. And then once it's attached, it becomes part of the camera. And if I turn the camera on now, it's providing power to the camera, which will power up in just a second. There it is there. So it all becomes part of the unit, and then when you need to change batteries, you can slide out. So you can bolt it onto the tripod. But it'll power the camera for hours, because it's a huge amount of power. But that's it there. I didn't put that on the bottom. So that's all we have, and this will be available. If we're going to the availability, this will be about August, I think. We don't think it'll make July. I think it'll be probably in August. It's really nice to fly. So that's all we have. this year. Again, I want to thank everyone for your support. We really appreciate everyone's support. If it wasn't for you guys, we couldn't do all the things we do. And it's been a lot of fun, and everyone's worked really hard. So I'll let you get off. The show's about to open, but thanks a lot. And I hope to talk to you on the